morning from day 6 on our Pilbara adventure. We are at Desert Queen Baths, and this morning we are dodging a few rain showers. So we're actually going to stay here for 2 nights now. That decision was made last night. And later this morning when everyone else is awake, we'll go and show you the Desert Queen Baths, which we went to last night and had a bit of a splash. It was quite refreshing. Pretty cold, but quite refreshing. Apart from that, we're going to do a short day trip out to the Desert Queen Bath lookout, which is only a 3-kilometre drive. And then just relax around camp. We've been driving a lot, so I think yesterday we did 230 kilometres. So not a bad effort. And the flies here are pretty horrendous actually. A lot of flies. When you're cooking on these kind of fires, what you want to start off with is smaller bits of wood, about that size. Let them all burn down, and while they're burning down, throw the plate on top of it, especially if it's been on the outside of the vehicle or hasn't been cleaned last time. That's a good time to clean it. Then you throw some water on it once it's super hot, and then give it a good scraping with a wire brush. For cooking on them, there's nothing much to it. I mean, obviously try and get it as level as possible. Have a welding glove, which goes with all camp cooking really. Have some good tongs, and don't cook under intensive flame. We've got some nice coals here, and that's enough to get it cooking. And then came the rain. It didn't last long, so it wasn't an issue. We weren't alone at Desert Queen Baths, there were other travellers there, and when you are so remote, that's when you tend to gravitate towards other campers and just go for a bit of a chat. And this is one of the chats that we had at the camp, where Martin and Gail showed us their FJ45. What a beautiful rig. So here is a short bit of a walkthrough around this vehicle. So we just went for a stroll, met Martin. Well, actually, he actually came to our camp. Check out this FJ45. How pristine is that? It's a beautiful rig.
Yeah, it's 1983, so that's what, 33 years?
33 years.
33 years, yeah. 3 engine rebuilds, 1 million kilometres.
Yeah, that's the petrol version, yeah?
It's a petrol, it's a 4.2 petrol,
the
yeah.
Petrol, yeah.
Yeah, and I bought it and I couldn't let go of it, it was just too good. And so I wouldn't swap it for a new one, I just love this car, you know, as you can tell.
You guys are travelling solo?
Yeah, just the 2 of us. We always travel together without anybody, so we have to be careful where we go. Our nerves going in later life, so we don't go too far off in the middle of nowhere, do we,
Not
Gil?
so much now.
No. So, these are quite easy to get to places in the scale of the world. Yeah, we camp up on top. We've got 2 beds up there.
Looks like a giant swag.
It is a bit, yeah, I guess it is. But we made that years ago because we wanted one that we could just put up quick. And the other thing is, if you're on the beach or something, the wind comes, you could just drive somewhere else. That's the beauty of being on top and not having a tent. So I can fire the car up and just basically drag everything to behind the dunes or out of the wind or out of the river or whatever it is. And now to a quick insight as to how Martin and Gail live out of their FJ45, and this is the part that I find most fascinating, is when you speak to long distance travellers in the middle of nowhere, how they live out of their vehicle. There's always something to learn. And I've got everything in there, from lights to sprays to the whole lot, and all the spares. I've got a full electrical system, so I've got alternator starter, voltage regulators, full electrical except the second battery. That's the only thing I don't carry. And so
write a list down. That's a good list for when you
and everything's just designed so you can take it all out and put it on the banks of the river if you get stuck. That's the idea. At first,
so the boxes
everything comes out. I can pull the whole lot out, and I made it that way in the end because I thought, oh, what happens if you that's everything you need to live with. It's no good being halfway through a river and going, oh well, it's all in the middle of the river, girl. It's better just to get it out to the banks, and so that's the reason we did this. So I went from a big water tank to these that I can carry. So I carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those for water.
Was this your idea?
Yeah, it's just simple 2 tyres. And it's actually on a single one, so all it is 2 threaded bars. And then what I do is, I'll show you, this is the trick to it, I've got a couple of these, and I just hook those fellas in, ratchet it up. I've got 2 of them. I ratchet that up and it just takes the bounce out of it. And that's the way up the top. That's how I get up, see? That's to go to bed, right? That's easy done. Yeah. And so with the 2 and a bit of old age creeping up, it means it's easier to get up and down without doing the kamikaze dive in the night. You know? It's a long way down for an old body. It'll certainly break something. But that's it. Simple stuff. Same with all of this. It all comes apart so simple, and there's enough wire at the back to pull it right back, so you can get, because you used to change the globes in these. There's no LEDs, they're just a globe. And amazingly enough, they're all original globes.
Martin's going to show us how he does a water crossing in this old petrol engine with the carburetor and all that stuff in there, and the plugs and.
Which is easy. And I tell you, I've had water up here, and you come out the other side. I've opened the bonnet and it's dry. I tie this on usually, but if you grab that one and that one, that goes there, and then that fella goes underneath to the springs, and so I got the bow wave. So as long as I don't stop and mess around in the middle of the river, which you wouldn't want to be, as long as I can keep going, it just goes straight around.
Excellent. So you're actually preventing the water from coming up.
Going through the radiator grill and all that.
Yeah.
And so I say I've had the water out up to here, and then I've got to the other side. I thought, I better have a look. Open it, and the distributor's dry. Everything's dry. Beautiful. Just amazing. As long as you didn't cross a lake that's 2 kilometres long or something, I think you'll be okay.
Your air intake's about here as well,
right? Right in there, tucked in the front. It is indeed. Number plate off. There's a hole in there which attaches. I can put the ratchet on it, and I can wind. I can pull the car up a hill just with the speed brace.
Oh wow!
Because it's so geared so low. So I thought if the motor packs up in water, at least then I can get the car out. As long as I get my ratchet on and ratchet the winch around, it'll pull it. In fact, you can almost turn it on the flat, almost turn it with your fingers and move the car. It's geared so low on the screw inside the winch.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're on our way to the waterhole up here, or to the Queen Desert Bath. The Desert Queen Bath, sorry. To get some water so we can do a bit of washing, some dishes and stuff. Don't want to use our drinking water. So when we get down there, I'll show you free Goanna's pool. Now here at the Desert Queen Bath, or Desert Queen Baths, because there's more than one waterhole. Now the Matu people are the traditional landowners of this area. Well, they've asked us to not go past this waterhole here, not to go beyond it because it's sacred ground. This here is called Free Goanna's Pool. Just above us here are the free rock carvings of the free goannas.
So here are the free goannas. As you can see, these are rock carvings and they are very hard to spot unless you know where to look and what you are actually looking for. So a lot of people would actually miss these.
So right now we're in what was formerly known as the Rudall River National Park, but they've renamed it after the Matu people, or the traditional owners of the lands here.
Yeah, Caramanilli. So it's Caramanilli National Park.
Caramanilli National Park. That's why I'm getting him to pronounce it, because I'm shocking at pronouncing names.
So they still operate traditionally here with traditional rangers. They were having some kangaroo and some bush turkey here earlier on. We found the remains of it. So they still operate with traditional indigenous rangers out of Coonawarrigi, predominantly Punmu, and to our south, Bungle or Cotton Creek, and Jigalong to the southwest. Yeah, but it's a great source of traditional culture and knowledge about the country.
Actually, those feathers in your hat is from the remains of the bush turkey.
Yeah, yeah.
It's now time for the very short drive to the Desert Queen Bath lookout, followed by lunch back at camp.
After a bit of a fun hill climb and realising we can't park anywhere up here, we reverse back down, which is just as fun as driving up. Here we are with these rock paintings. These are not done by the Martu people. Martu Ranger has notified us that these are just done by any old person. There is a beautiful view behind us, which is the main reason why we came up here. So I'll give you a look at that. That is absolutely spectacular. And our camp is off in the distance over here.
The visit to the lookout was just a short one. We're now heading back to camp to have a late lunch, and Harry and myself are going to show you two different ways of improvising and cooking. First up is Harry, and he's going to show us how to make dirty steaks.
Steaks over here. This one we've got done a little bit of a marinade, which is fish sauce, a bit of sugar and some chili, sort of an Asian style. It caramelizes really well. And this one is just more of a traditional steak, which is just salt, pepper, olive oil. So, put these ones on first. The coals will stick a little bit to it, but only in terms of how they cook onto it. Provided you're not in sand, the ash and things will just wipe straight off the top, and you won't really taste it. No worse than having it on any hot plate. So. They turn out surprisingly clean for something called dirty steaks. They've been on there for about a minute and a half. Just giving them a quick flip, seal the other side, and then take them off. Tell me what that is. Traditional or spicy?
That's the spicy one.
Is it? What is it?
Mmm. That's so good.
Oh.
And so quick.
Here is another method that I use sometimes, and that is cooking on the camp oven lid. This saves me from bringing pots and pans and whatnot.
And again, it pays to have a stainless steel table.
clearing this rock here. You look like you hit the rock, did you? I don't think he's taken breath yet. He dived in, but he's not breathing.
So after a bit of a freshen up, we're going to head off to our next campsite, which is Jarrapool, or Tajarrapool, also known as pool number 11, because people just can't pronounce the name. I probably can't either. It's only a 50k drive, and we still want to just, you know, have a relaxing drive, and then the day after that we got a long drive out of here.
Just as we were about to leave, Harry discovered some issues with the 80.
Harry started his 80 just before we were going to leave and noticed some different noises, and we're just checking the bolts on his pulley, all his pulleys and belts, and we've, well, you found what, one so far that's loose?
Two.
It's just turning on the belt, is it? Let me just get a hand into the belt for you.
If I just put a screwdriver on. So we've taken the fan off and had a bit of a look at this rattling pulley. It was the inner crank pulley. They usually sit on a rubber bushing, a rubber mount. I think that's worn out or busted or whatever. Not much we can do out here because I don't have a spare one. It'll be fine till we get back. It just means that I may well put a bit more wear on my inner belts. And if I do that, I've got 2 spare belts and I'll just replace it. So we'll be fine. We'll get out of here.
of Desert Queen Bath track, which was an 18-kilometre drive in and out. We're now heading to pool number 11. I love the name, pool number 11. We'll be making our way back out, so we're still very remote. You can say extremely remote to a certain degree. Where we are going, we're not expecting to see anybody. In fact, I was surprised to see people at Desert Queen Bath, but it's a popular spot out here. It must be on a few maps at the Newman Tourism or Information Centre or whatever. And if it wasn't for the mines out here, I don't think we'd would have seen many people at all. We have completed our short 50-kilometre drive and we have reached pool number 11. We haven't quite set up yet, but we're pretty much settled in. Most of us have been in the water already. I've yet to go in. What are you making us, Harry?
Oh, made you a little drink. It's rum, dry, and coffee.
Rum, dry, and coffee. Just what I need.
HSMA Wayne is going down. What's that?
The captain must go down with his ship. The sun has gone down, obviously. We're using the Snow Peak fire pit tonight because since I did the review on it, Drifter have contacted me and they've sent me an updated grill and plate that goes on top of this, because the previous one was, I think it was galvanised and started rusting out, but they actually have a stainless steel version, so they sent me that. So yeah, so I'll give that a go, see how it goes. I've got a few different plates, so we've got to cook breakfast on it tomorrow. But right now we're going to have steak and chips, crinkle cut chips, believe it or not. We're going to use the camp oven to cook the chips in, and we're going to use a wire mesh to cook the steaks on. And everything we're going to use is in this fire pit. We're going to use the coals, and we are using thin sticks so they burn quick and give us coals really quick. We don't want big logs like this because that's going to take all night for it to collapse. 25 minutes has passed. I did say 15-20 minutes, but I decided a little bit longer. Oh, that looks bloody delicious. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid back on just for a sec. Now what I've put in there is I've put some bird's eye chilies, chopped them up, threw them in there. I'm now going to do the steaks while this rests. So all I'm going to do is take the coals off, take it off the heat, and it'll rest in the cast iron oven and just cook through a little bit more. Put the steaks in, the big grill, extended handle so we don't burn our hands. I have a welding glove, which is important. You do not cook on a fire without a welding glove. You can even move logs with a welding glove. So now we chuck the steaks on. A whole heap of heat. There's flames, there's coals, there's all kinds of things happening here. 45 seconds. I'm just going to rest it on there.
Yep. That's your one.
Now this fire is about 500 to 650 degrees hot. That's your fire won't get hotter than 650. 45 seconds. And then we go to the other side. Five minutes has surpassed. We're now going to do 30 seconds each side, starting. There we go. And another 30 seconds this side. That's it, we're done. Just let them rest for a little bit longer here, a couple of minutes, and then these fine people I'm camping with can have a go. But one of them's mine. Okay, just a tip I want to point out. When they're on the ground, just make sure that your travel companions or your camping friends don't walk over it, because they're going to cover it in sand. And then you're going to have to pretend it's all salt and pepper when they ask, why are they sandy? Oh man, that's so good. I mean, look at all the juices coming out of this. And take my word for it, this is some of the best steak you'll have.
Yep.
Up here we got our chips. Alright, so how is it, lads?
Really good.
And lady?
It's amazing.
Spectacular.
What's a camping trip without marshmallows? Incomplete, I say. Incomplete.
We're going to cook breakfast on the fire pit this morning, and I've got some upgrades for it, or some updates. So my previous grill wasn't stainless steel, this one is now, but I'm not going to use this today. I'm going to use this new frame, which is the same as the old frame, but this clips in better, like so. And then we have plates, more like a dish really, and the other grill. And that's what we're going to cook breakfast on this morning, which is pretty cool. So this kind of stuff is what you want if you can't have a ground fire where you might be camping. If you're not allowed to have a ground fire, or there are no more ground fires available, or you just don't want to leave a mess on the ground, which is a good option not to do, then use a fire pit. Yeah, this one or another one, but this one's a pretty cool one.
With breakfast now down, I want to run through 2 bags which I'm finding really useful at the moment. One sent to me from Drifter for my clothes, and one sent to me from Grab Me Gear, which I've had for a while now. Really awesome bag.
So my clothes always sit on the roof of the vehicle, in the roof bag. And this is a new bag I'm testing out. I've ditched my old bag because what I like about this bag is slightly bigger than the old one, and it's got these side pockets, so I keep my socks and my undies on one side, and other belts and deodorant cans on the other side. That way I'm not fumbling around trying to find stuff in between, which I have done for the last however many years. And this year, this is probably my favourite bag. This is by a local guy in Western Australia. Very small business, family owned business. It's a Grab Me Gear bag. And in this bag, I keep a sat phone, sunglasses case, knife sharpener, binoculars, my drinking horn, and my secret stash of special liquid, bit of booze. And then in here, snake bite kit, toothbrush kit, head torch, CPR kit, so I don't have to be slobbing everyone's face when I'm giving them mouth to mouth. In here I have a bit of a survival kit, which I'll leave for another video. some mood lights when we can't have campfires. It's not a problem here though. Torch, bug spray, and yeah, so anti-bug stuff, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and then my ghost drawer as well, which I'm testing out, which you would have seen already. So what I like about it is everything's in one bag. I can either zip it shut or just flap it over like that. And it's ready to go. Really strong design too. I love it. I've actually got two of these. The other one's carrying my camera gear. So it's a bit less exciting to look at, so we'll leave that one out.
Time to get moving and time to smash in some kilometres. We have a fair bit of a drive and all of it is on unsealed tracks or roads. Now on Harry's 80, just to get a different perspective, give you guys something a bit different to look at. Up ahead, Muzz is passenger seat of my car and Wayne is driving it, so tell Wayne to take good care of it.
No chance.
Kid on the radio.
Wayne, taking care of Rhonda's car.
So you're backing up.
What are we using for navigation first?
Okay, so for navigation I've got two things. I've got Mud Maps one here, which I really enjoy. I really like the interface.
Yeah.
The maps aren't as good as the HEMA, but the interface is very easy to use, very quick.
Big map too.
It's a nice big map. It's on a really old iPad. This is probably worth $50 now. It's an iPad 1. It doesn't even have a camera. Up here we've got HEMA on the app, and that's sitting in my booster cradle. So, and then I've just got your normal diff lock switch, like your car.
Oh yeah, that's right. There. Yeah.
And then they light up on the dash like your car and tell me when they're in.
More or less getting a feel on the suspension in this vehicle, and I've been in it a few times before. Yeah, it just glides over everything pretty much.
It's pretty smooth. I mean, you come from the perspective of an extremely well set up leaf sprung car, but a leaf sprung car nonetheless.
Oh, this must be Snake.
And it's what?
Oh, Mr.
Nice.
Snake.
Yeah, seven green ones.
We just missed a snake.
Have a look.
Can you still see it?
Can you still see it?
Nah, she's gone.
I think Wayne just staked one of my tyres. Oh. In black toolbox. Sidewall. Bugger.
Sidewall?
Yeah. There's a little bastard here that went into the sidewall. Halfway in.
It's not my tummy.
Oh, that's my fuel tank draining into the tank. That's good. You haven't staked that too, have you, Wayne? Alright. So take your finger off for a sec. Substantial hole. Not on the highway, so I'm just going to plug it. But really just the tyre's pretty well done for the highway. Don't really want to be driving around with a sidewall plug, although I have in the past. First plug.
Get in there.
Uh-oh. Too far. I lost the plug.
After all that.
Plug number 2, the first one's lost in there.
That sounds like the drill at the dentist.
That's what you think of it? Plug number 4. Best way to get them through is just to wedge one end in, grab your pliers, there we go, and wiggle it through.
And punch your kamasabi.
There we go. Now we'll lubricate this one a little bit. Alright, here we go. Plug number 5.
Where's she gonna go? Ooh, that's split.
Oh, nearly lost it.
Just do the big yank, because it'll double over as you come out.
Done. Good as new.
You get your razor blade?
Yeah. I'll pick those up obviously. We're just going to stick some air in it now and see if it holds. 5 plugs, 4 in the hole, 1 inside. We opted to use the bottle jack mainly because we didn't take the pressure off the tyre, and when you hear a sidewall stake you kind of presume that you'll be changing a tyre. We're in the bush, our top speed isn't going to be that high for a while, and if this holds till I get to the Talawana track, which we could probably reach speeds of 90, I'll probably just leave it on until I get to the highway and see how it goes. Back on the road. Now we're travelling behind Wayne so we can keep an eye on my Land Cruiser.
To watch out for that snake that turned out to be a steak.
Yeah, snake that turned out to be a steak. Here is a fridge, isn't it?
Yep. It's only got 1 Coke in it. It's a bit sad, but it's quite a big fridge. And of course the
Oh, the little ice tray.
two ice trays.
That's amazing. That's a standard feature, by the way, in a 200, in a Sahara, 80
Yeah.
Sahara.
60, 80, 100 and 200 all have fridges in the Saharas.
So what would your number 1 driving tip be for a trip like this?
Number 1 driving tip, don't think too much about the line that you take when you're sort of nipping through little tracks. I think a lot of people stop and stress a lot about whether they hit which part of the track they hit in terms of bumps and things. I think it's more about making the most of the course you've taken. So it's not jamming on your brake at the last minute and trying to swerve away from a bit of a dip or something. I find that's a lot more dangerous than actually just going through the dip and absorbing the bump.
Depending on the size of the dip, of course, but
Of course, depending on the size of the dip. You can wipe off speed in a straight line before you do it, but a lot of the time I find it's better just to wipe off as much speed as I can, go straight.
Right, so out here in the outback, you can find a coin slot washing machine. This one not far from the Talawana track. You stick your clothes in there. Harry, might need your inverter.
Oh yeah, no worries. Have you got a jerry can for water? Yeah. No, we'll sort that.
Lunch is down. I'm going to do something a bit nasty to the boys here. We've only got one left. Sorry. I'm not a popular man right now. We can all share. I'm having the first bite though. So we're looking at the map. And everyone else is looking at my ice cream. Rightio. Come closer, Muzz.
That is a big eagle.
It's on the donut.
You're right into that one.
Rhonda nearly lost that one. Okay. So we are here. No, we are here. Yeah, we're only 100 k's off.
So I guess
So
we're
we're-
in the camp in the dark again.
Scarborough.
Tallawana track. We are at a camp, designated camp place. We only have about 60 kilometres to go down to the Tallawana ruins. Harry's never been there. I haven't been there. No one here has been there. So eager to see what's down there. Now there is supposed to be a dam down there, which we're hoping to get some water from because, yeah, there was no windmill where we thought there might be a windmill, and the water pump was broken.
On my map, it shows a road going down here to the lake, and then another road separate near the Len Bedell marker down to Tallawana.
Okay, so if you want the water, we'll have to take the one before.
Yeah, but it's only 3 or 4 k's.
Yeah, yeah. It won't take us long to get there.
No, and if it's a big, nice lake, then worth it anyway.
For a swim, yeah. Because I am hot, clammy, dirty, covered in sunscreen. We'll like a bit of a wash before we hit the road home tomorrow.
Definitely.
So that's the plan.
Cool. Alright. Once you finish your ice cream, being an arsehole, we can head off.
And so we found a water source.
That's what the cows are saying.
Yeah. And I think anybody that drinks this water will probably do cow patties too.
Oh, we'll find out tonight, won't we?
Harry.
Well, I'm getting some too.
There's nothing wrong with that water.
No, it's getting filtered anyway.
It's just green colour.
Do you want that exhaust fixed now while we're waiting for this, or?
Can do.
Whereabouts is it? Back or front?
Back there.
Back bit? Can you feel how hot it is? Going to use some wire to wire his exhaust up. He's got a broken mount. Hey Murray, get your take over here.
Sure.
So hail to all the steel fixers out there. So there's the broken exhaust mount. The weld is broken right here.
Tie wire or fencing wire or any wire is a great addition to your duct tape and cable ties. Now, duct tape and cable ties can fix most things, but they don't do too well around heat. So anything around something that's hot, wire can be your best friend.
think we are on Belford Down Station. Regardless, we're heading to Talawana Ruins. We picked up the track. It was a bit difficult to find, but we managed to find it. And yeah, we're now on the track. There's a lot of cattle around. Ooh, what's that in front of us? Oh, is that a bull? Yeah, it looks like that. Oh, that's a bull.
It was a big bull indeed, but what actually took the cake for the day were the wild camels. Finally, towards the end, we see camels.
Finally get to see camels on the last day.
Trying to find a way to get close to the camels. As soon as they smelt me, they all ran. But didn't want to stress them out too much. Wayne managed to go around and they were quite calm around the Land Cruiser, but on foot it doesn't seem you can get close to them. So Wayne's trying to get back to me. We're on a farming property. Yep.
And that's about as close as I got to him. But hey, still saw camels in the wild. That's all that matters.
Talawana Ruins should be to our right now. Are you checking the outside? Cool. Hopefully one of the boys finds it. Melon Well, which is there. So Talawana Ruins should be just in front of us.
We spent the rest of the afternoon into the evening trying to find the Talawana Ruins with no luck. So we ended up having to put our tails between our legs, admit defeat, and go back to the open plains and set up camp there for the night.
There we go.
Wind is great.
I've made the decision this morning to get an awning on the vehicle. I have no shelter. This is our final morning. We now have a bit of a drive to get out of here. Another 200 Ks?
250, something like that.
250 Ks. And once we hit the bitumen, that is the end of our adventure.
Well, it was time for some of us to do our last refills with our jerry cans on the last morning, taking the last tracks out, the last roads. All good things come to an end, and this trip was really, really good. One of the most remote trips you could do in the Pilbara, in my opinion, and well worth it. So we are nearly back into civilization.
Here we are at the end of the road, end of our journey. The highway is just 2 kilometres out that way, and yeah, it was a pretty cool experience out here, out in the Pilbara. We have some other trips coming up later in the year, one being the Kimberley. Really looking forward to that, and we're going to be out there for 20 days, so that's twice as long as this trip. So this was a good pre-trip to sort of help plan how we are going to do the Kimberley. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You can subscribe somewhere on here, and please do support the creation of content at patreon.com/RonnieDahl, and I'll see you in the next series.